let's start by introducing our speaker for today, Adam Lewinberg. Adam is the president of Postal Advocate Inc., the only mail audit and recovery firm in the US and Canada. We manage a portfolio of just under 100,000 pieces of mailing equipment for the largest US companies. He speaks and teaches nationally on mail savings and industry trends. He is the industry co-chair for the Boston Postal Customer Council, and he is a member of the Mail Systems Management Association. He has certifications in CMDSS and MDC. He's a featured writer for the Mailing Systems Technology magazine, and he also worked for one of the largest mailing vendors for over 18 years as the director of national sales for Presort, tabletop inserters, addressing hardware and software, and green offerings. He was one of the top 5 account managers nationally, working with some of the nation's top accounts. Postal Advocate is not affiliated with any mailing vendor, so we offer unbiased advice. Over to you, Adam.
Thanks, Doris. So good morning, everybody. So we're here to talk about the rate change. So we've been doing these sort of comparison charts and webinars and information sessions for years because we feel that the post office, does a great job as far as getting the rates out there, but they don't tell you really what's changing. They say this is what's new, but they don't give it a comparison against what they had before. So our job, we feel, is to make it easy to go over what are the things that we think impact your business or your organization to make this easy. So today we're going to cover what rates are changing, how this impacts you, what you need to do. We'll give some tips on how you need to make sure you have the right rates. And then throughout this whole presentation, we'll give you savings tips that you can use. The new rates take effect on Sunday, the 21st. The reason the post office does it on Sunday is because it's to make sure that you have all the rates downloaded into your systems and to make sure that when you come in on Monday, which is typically the biggest mail day, that you're ready to go. We're going to focus on the most common rate structures. So there are, that are used in most organizations. So we're not going to focus on things that are sort of niche applications only used by some. Things like we're not going to cover periodical rates. We're not going to cover like detailed international services like M-bags and things like that, or carrier routes. We're going to keep to the services that people are using on a daily basis throughout most organizations. But if you need more information on those other classes, you can go to the Postal Explorer website at the link below. So first class single piece letters. So let's first talk about postal rates change because post office needs more money to be able to keep up with their expenses, healthcare, transportation costs, fuel, all those types of things. Postal rates today, and something that I want to start actually before we even go into the rates, is postal rates are usually capped by the Consumer Price Index, which typically is going up 1% to 2% per year. The other extreme circumstances is something called an exigent rate increase that happened a few years ago where the post office says in extreme circumstances they are allowed to raise rates by higher amounts. But the post office just did a review and they had this Consumer Price Index clause that said it can only go up by the 1% to 2% of the Consumer Price Index was just under review. And the 10 years of that clause is now over. So the post office just had a review, and we can basically expect that in the future, not in this rate increase, but in the future, we're going to see larger rate increases and potentially more frequent rate increases. So we may have one as early as this summer that will happen again. When that occurs, we'll give you more information about it as it comes up. But just letting you know that this is a standard rate increase based on what's been in place for the last 10 years. Things that are coming in the future could be more chaotic, and we'll give you information as soon as we know about them. First class single piece. So first class letters are going from 49 to 50 cents, a 2% increase. The second ounce is staying the same. So that's going from, it's still at 21 cents. So as items get heavier, first class letter rates stay about the, the increase decreases. For flats, it's a similar story as well. 1% to 2% increases. A 1 ounce flat goes from 98 cents to $1, a 2% increase. Someone once told me that the reason that they try to keep flat prices as $1 is because basically they want it to be 2 1 ounce stamps that you can put on the flat and have the right denominations of postage. Parcels, on the other hand, and a first class parcel is anything that's deemed as unflexible. If you bubble wrap small boxes, if you were to put a pen inside an envelope that makes it non-uniform in thickness, those qualify as parcel rates. Those rates are going up anywhere between 13 and 21%. And so if you're doing those types of pieces, it's important. It looks like the post office talks about 1% to 2% increases, But really, it depends on the type of mail you have. If you're doing a lot of parcels, this is a significant increase for you. There are two price categories for first-class letters. There is the retail rate that we just gave you, and then there's metered letters. So I think it was 3 or 4 years back, the post office started offering a discounted rate for people that either use postage meters or PC postage. So that initial savings was a penny, then it went down to only a half a cent, and the next rate increase. But last year, it went to a 3-cent differential. So if you're using a postage meter or PC postage to process your mail, you're saving 3 cents over the retail rate. The increase in cost for the metered letters category is going up a penny, so from 46 to 47 cents. And again, the second ounce rates aren't going up. It's important to know, though, if you're not using a meter or PC postage and you're doing any sort of significant volume, it's just important to see the types of savings opportunities that it can bring. You can get small meters or PC postage for around $20 a month or higher, but the savings can be significant. If you do $10,000 a year, the savings is $638 a year at 3 cents a piece. So it's just something to be aware of if you didn't know about it. First-class mail commercial. So first-class mail commercial is for anyone who barcodes their mailings in-house. You know, they'll run it through an automation software tool that validates the address and sprays the barcode on the bottom right or in the address block, or people that use pre-sort services. If you have a company come and pick up your mail and then they commingle it with their other clients and sort it down deep into the postal system and run it through their barcode sorters, they also qualify for what's called commercial rates. So the changes that are happening in there. So actually, let me go back one step. The way commercial rates are based on is the sortation levels, and it's basically the density of your pieces. So automation 5-digit means you have 150 pieces going to a 5-digit sortation, like 90210. And automation AAD 3-digit, which they have for flats, means you have 150 pieces going to 902. And automation AADC means you have 150 pieces going to 902, 904, and 906. That's a certain schematic the post office sets up. And then automation mixed AADC is sort of for everything else. And then a basic pre-sort means there's no barcodes, and it's the most basic level that they offer. So what you can see here is for the highest density pieces, the automation 5-digit, rates are going from 37.3 to 37.8. They're going up a half a cent. And that's compared to the first-class letters where they're going up a whole penny. So you still win out on the difference. Automation AADC, they're going up 1.2%, another half a cent. But what's interesting is the automation mixed AADC is only going up 0.001 cent, almost unnoticeable. And what's interesting is they usually give the higher discounts to the highest sort levels. In this case, it's the opposite. For flats, very different as well. The 5-digit flat, the price is going up 6.3%. It's going up from 44.6 to 47.4, a huge increase. But the 3-digit and the automation area distribution center sorts are going down, and the automation mixed ADC are going down by 6%. So depending on how deep you're sorting these, your rates could go up or go down. If you use a pre-sort service to do flats, this could impact your rates. So pay attention to your invoices on what they're charging you after the rate increase and make sure that you can negotiate this with them. If you use postcards, the increases are very similar to what we see for letters. Also, if you're using full service IMB, they still qualify for the additional 0.003 cent savings. So some opportunities for mail savings around letters. So first off, the post office came out with something, I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago, where they call it second ounce rides free. And what that meant was when you send a 2-ounce letter through a meter, it's 68 cents. But if you use one of the automation classes, they give you 2 ounces for the price of the 1-ounce rate. So you can see that that goes to 37.3 to 42.3. 37.8 to 42.4. But what they just came out with is up to 3.5 ounces of mail, and this is new for this year, goes at the same rate as the 1-ounce piece. So in essence, let's say that you're sending a 3-ounce letter. Let's say you're doing invoices or statements, and you have some invoices and statements that have 6, 7, 8 pages in them, and you fold them into a 6x9 envelope, and they're at 3 ounces. Well, your choices to run those are, if you don't have a postage meter or PC postage, it's 92 cents. If you have a meter, it's 89, or PC postage, it's 89 cents. But because of this 3-ounce rides free, That piece, if you were to automate it in-house or use a pre-sort service, would be anywhere between 37.3 to 42.4, a 52 to 58% savings. So it's more important than ever to look at this, because this could actually drastically reduce your costs if you're doing heavyweight items. And we think the post office is doing this so they can add extra content to add extra value to your mail pieces, so you'll be less apt to want to switch it, to electronic replacement. Converting lightweight flats to letters. So we find a lot of customers are sending 9x12s with documents in them, and maybe they don't have that many sheets. They're lightweight flats. If you can fold those in half in a 6x9 envelope, the cost goes significantly down, or into a number 10, regular business envelope. So let's use the comparison. If you used to have 6 to 10 sheets of paper into a flat envelope, 9x12 or 10x13, it's $1.42. If you just fold that in half into a 6x9 envelope, the cost goes to 68 cents. And if you use one of the automation classes to do it, where 2 to 3 ounces rides for the same price as 1 ounce, it could be as little as 37.8. So there's significant savings, 52 to 73%, by looking at how you're doing these. So the goal of this, as you can see, is to not just talk about the increases, to show you where you can actually save money for your organization. Marketing mail. They used to call marketing mail standard mail. Standard mail is anything non-personalized in correspondence, is how the post office dictates it. So think about a flyer, a newsletter, a catalog, a solicitation, something where everyone's getting the same piece. It could be a personalized letter, like Dear Adam, but it couldn't have personalized content inside of it, like you owe this much, or this is your specific account number and balance. It can't have that type of information. But you could have a merged letter. That's fine. That qualifies for marketing mail. There are significantly discounted rates for marketing mail over first class. It gets slower delivery. You should expect, instead of 1 to 3 day delivery, you can expect, 2 days to 10 days for delivery. But it's much more. It can be much more cost effective for this type of information. There's 2 categories. There's marketing mail for commercial customers and for nonprofit customers. So let's talk about the savings in those. So the rate changes. So if you're doing automation level mail for letters, and you're doing the deepest sort levels, you have 150 pieces or more going to 90210, the price is not changing. You get a slight increase on the AADC, all the pieces going to 902, 904, 906 get about a 1% increase, and then all the mixed miscellaneous stuff is about a negative 0.3%. Overall, you could probably not expect any significant change on the letter side. On flats, on the other hand, though, the automation, the 5-digit go up about 2%, and the less automated mail goes up 5 to 9%. So if you're doing a lot of flats, you will see an impact. And the post office is realizing that it is a much higher cost for the flats, and they're passing it through to clients. If you're a nonprofit, you're getting about a 2% increase on, basically about, give or take, about a 2% increase overall on your letters. The 5-digit go up 1.5%. The automation AADC goes up 3.2, and the other goes up 0.6. With flats, you're seeing a 7% decrease to the highest sort levels, all the way up to a 6% increase for the lowest sort levels. So if you're a nonprofit, you probably want to budget about 2% on the letters, and anywhere from flat to 1 or 2% increases on the flats based on your volumes and densities. Priority mail. There's 3 core classes of priority mail. There's retail, which is what you pay at the postal counter, the retail counter of the post office, or through a postage meter. There's commercial base, which is what you get through a PC postage solution. And then there's Commercial Plus for customers doing over 50,000 packages a year. You can have an agreement with the Postal Service, and they give you a lower rate structure. So the key difference between retail, commercial, and the commercial rates are you just paying at the post office and walking in? Are you just putting a postage meter imprint or stamps on your pieces? You qualify for the retail rates. If you can generate this 4x6 label where you're submitting the address, the tracking number, your return address, and a payment method all in one 4x6 label, and then which gets transferred electronically to the Postal Service, they give you the commercial rates. And the reason the post office is doing this is they're trying to get people doing it this way so they can have higher levels of tracking and so they can compete more heavily with the private carriers. So if you were using Click and Ship, which is if you were to go on USPS.com, they used to give you commercial base rates. Last year, actually in 16, they stopped that and they moved those to retail rates. So if you're getting this label, but you're using the USPS.com site at no cost, you basically have to pay the retail rates. So now let's talk about the rates for those. So again, there's 3 different rates, but inside those rates, priority mail is for people who are doing 13 ounces to 70-pound items, 1 to 3 day delivery throughout the US, and there are 9 primary zones based on distance. So the way priority mail is rated, it's either, if it's by weight, it's the zone, which is the distance away from you. So if you're in Boston to California, that would be a zone 8, and versus Indiana to Illinois might be a zone 2 or 3. Rates go up as your zones get farther away. Or there are flat rate items where the post office provides the boxes and you basically get a flat rate no matter where you're sending it to in the country. So when we look at the weight-based for priority retail, you're seeing give or take about a 1% increase, and on the flat rate as well, about a 1% increase, a half to 1% increase. For commercial, you're seeing, it depends on the weight, it could be 1 to 10% increases. And you could see for the lightweight items, those are going up the most, and the reason for that is those are the most popular. People use priority mail mostly for lightweight shipments. And the flat rate items, you can see the same thing. The lightweight flat rate boxes are all going up by about 9 to 10%, where the heavier ones are going up 3%. And then commercial plus are going up in similar amounts. Priority Mail Express, we're seeing similar things. We're seeing a 3 to 10% increase on retail. 3 to 10% increases overall on retail. Retail rates are increasing 6% overall, but 9% for the most popular services, which is the flat rate and less than 10-pound items. And commercial rates are increasing by 4% overall, but 5% for the flat rate and less than 10-pound items. And there's no commercial plus rate. The commercial plus rates are the same as the commercial base. So now let's talk about some savings tips for priority mail. So if you can move from retail to commercial base to commercial plus, or even just retail to commercial base, which is more realistic for clients, overall it's a 10% savings. So look at a 5-pound box. The rates for those for retail are $9.85 to $30.25 versus commercial, which are $7.41 to $29.15, a 4 to 25% savings. And you can see this across the board. The flat rate envelopes are a little bit lower in their savings percentages, anywhere between 2 and 7%. If you're Priority Mail Express, it's a 12% savings overall across all weights and zones. Okay, so the best thing that you can do if you're doing a lot of priority mail is to move from retail versions to commercial-based versions. It gives you more information about the pieces. You can have online tracking of all your pieces tied to the address, and there are multiple systems that can be as little as a few dollars added to your postage meter lease to $10 or $20 a month for simple solutions. So it doesn't have to be expensive to do this. The downside is you have to physically type the address into the system versus many of you may just be running it through your postage meter. So you have to make a decision, is it worth typing in the address into the system and generating the label versus just the ease of running it through a meter or taking them to the post office. Just like we saw first-class parcels on the retail segment, which is anything that's in a bubble pack or a box or unflexible or with a pen in it, the post office has a rate structure for the commercial side called first-class mail package services. Those rates are going up anywhere between 1% to 15%, increasing as the items get heavier. But a great save, and this is a picture of what that looks like. So this is maybe a bubble pack that has a label on it. Just like priority mail, it's just for lighter items, less than a pound. So a best-in-class strategy is if you can move away from the retail rates and move to the commercial rates, the savings are significant. So let's take a 6-ounce piece. It's $3.75 to send it the retail way versus $2.92 to send it commercial, 22% savings. My daughter had a project for one of her innovation classes in high school where they had to ship a Pringle from their home to the school in the least expensive way, the fastest way, and at the lowest, so the lowest cost and the fastest way without any breakage. So you have to ship a Pringle, so you have to package it because Pringles are going to break pretty easily. So my daughter actually got the highest grade, luckily, because we have some PC postage tool that can get them the first class package service at $266, while the other kids in the class unfortunately had retail rates, which got them the $350 rate. Not necessarily fair that their father is in the postal business, but at the same side, you have to use the things that you have at your disposal. But it's important to look at these. The other thing that's important about these commercial rates is that retail rates go up to 13 ounces. So a retail parcel stops at 13 ounces and $5.50. Anything above 13 ounces for the retail side goes to priority mail, which is $6.70 to $10.60. But first class package service goes up to 15.99 ounces. So if you're sending a 15-ounce item, and you don't have the ability to do commercial rates, these rates, you're going to spend $6.70 to $10.60 versus $4.66, a 30 to 56% savings. Additional rates. So, like I said, we're not going to cover all the international rates that are out there. There are so many. But the core that people use every day are 1 and 2 ounce letters and postcards, and you'll be happy to know that those rates are staying the same throughout the world. Library rates, we're seeing single piece rates go up 1 to 2%. The basic pre-sort rates are following the same suit. But if you can barcode those and pre-sort them, they're going down by 1 to 5% based on your sort levels and weights. Media mail following the similar to library rate. 1 to 3% increases based on weight for single piece and basic pre-sort, but the barcoded or the 5-digit pre-sort rates are actually going down for the lighter weights. Special services. If you're doing certificate of mailings, they're going up 5 cents. Registered without insurance goes up 20 cents. Certified mail, which is the most popular service we see, is going up 10 cents. The return receipt, if you're doing retail, stays the same, but if you're doing electronic, it's going up 5 cents. If you do USPS tracking, it's still free for first-class package services and priority mail, but marketing mail parcels are going from 37 cents to 39 cents. And signature confirmation is going up 10 cents for retail and for electronic. So to save money on certified, if you do a lot of certified, and it could be as little as 40 or 50 a month, consider switching to electronic return receipt. It saves $1.25 per item. And instead of you having to fill out the green card, wait for it, then it gets signed off by the client and then sent back to you, and you have to keep track of all these green cards and then put them with the files. The electronic version gives you stickers, or you can print them directly onto your document and show it through a window. And then instead of getting the green card back, you would go to a website or use your tool to generate these, and it would show you all the certifieds that you would send out and the ones you need with the delivery dates and times, and the ones that you needed to have proof of signature, you would just literally click on a button and generate a PDF of the signature. And it saves $1.25 per piece. Other savings tips. If you're sending a lot of parcels, consider the differences between the Postal Service and the private carriers. They both have benefits. And so it depends which one's going to be right for you, and there's no one right answer. So the post office doesn't charge extra fees for fuel. They don't charge fuel surcharges. They don't charge residential fees. They don't charge for Saturday delivery, and they don't charge for address corrections. And they're typically the best rates for lightweight items going to residences, which is why a lot of people in the e-commerce side are shipping through the Postal Service. They also have those first-class parcel rates we talked about that are by the ounce versus the private carriers, which only go by the pound. So you can ship something for $266 to $494 versus having to default to the pound rate. And they give free boxes. The benefits with USPS and FedEx are you can get negotiated rates based on your volume. So many of you are probably on some sort of contract rate that could give you 20, 30, 50, 70% discounts based on the kind of volumes that you're giving them. They have guaranteed delivery with refunds. So if you ship a ground package from Boston to Chicago, it's guaranteed 3-day delivery. And if it doesn't get there, you're entitled to refunds. The Postal Service, the only guaranteed service they have is their express mail, which is a premium service. You can get dedicated account managers who can help you with your account, which is more difficult with the post office. You have to be a bigger customer with the Postal Service to get that. And they typically will have the best rates on items over 5 pounds or lighter weight items going to businesses. So what companies are doing, because nobody just has like one type of package that goes out, is what companies are doing is that the best in class is to compare rates between carriers and on a package by package basis. And there are multiple ways to do this. You can do it manually, which is very time consuming, switching between systems to figure out rates. Or now there are these cloud-based multi-carrier systems that could be very inexpensive, as little as $20, $30 a month on up, that will allow you to do these types of rate comparisons on a package by package basis. And then there's much more complex PC-based server systems that you can define rules of how you want things shipped, and you can sort of enforce the way that you want people in your organization to process packages and overnights. So, but the best thing is if you can develop that sort of compare on a package by package basis, you'll save the most money. How do you budget for this increase? So this is just like a very rudimentary table, but this is the concept. So enter last year's spend into a spreadsheet, and then estimate percentages based on the type of mail. So what are you spending for letters and flats, for commercial, for parcels, for priority mail? Put those different categories in that make up your mail distribution, and then factor an estimated percentage increase based on the types of mail and your kind of densities. And that will sort of give you an idea of what you should budget. Most customers, to be safe, if they budgeted 2%, would probably cover them. But if you're doing a lot of packages, if you're doing things, a lot of flats that are sorted, you could see different rate increases based on your type of mail. What you need to do. So if you have a postage meter or a mailing system, make sure you've downloaded the new rates prior to Sunday. And the way to do that is when you hit refill on your postage meter, it dials out and gets funds. It'll usually ask you, new rates available, do you want to download them now? You can also go to your meter if you're not doing a refill, and just ask for a balance update, like how much money do you have sitting at the mailing vendor in your postage account? And usually through those functions, you'll be able to, they'll ask you, do you want the updated rates? If that doesn't work, you can hit the vendor's websites, and we have links to all the different vendors that you can go to. And if you need more information, you can also go to the USPS Explorer website, and there's different information about the rate change. We're providing everybody who's on this call a quick cut sheet that has all these charts that we've gone over today that you can use as a reference guide. Some people put them up near their machine, so they have a quick reference guide of all these different rates, and it can make it easy. Or you can go to either, and if for some reason you don't get that through the confirmation, you can also just download that from our website. So a rate summary. So overall, first class mail single piece, 1 to 21% increases. I'd say 2% overall for letters and flats. First class mail single piece metered letters. Remember, it's a 3-cent savings overall, and it's a 2% increase overall is a safe bet. First class mail commercial, a 6% decrease to a 6% increase. It depends on the type of mail you're doing. And remember, it goes from 2 ounces to 3.5 ounces at the same price as 1 ounce. Marketing mail, a 7% decrease to a 6% increase. Priority mail, up to 14% increases. And priority mail express, 1 to 7% increases. And first class package services, 1 to 15% increases. So unfortunately, it depends. You really have to look at your mail to see how it sort of impacts you. We went through a bunch of different savings ideas. The good thing is these are basically all the savings opportunities you have around mail. So use a postage meter, you save 3 cents, at least the main ways you can save money. Use a postage meter, it saves 3 cents per letter. Convert your letters and flats to automation classes. So go from the retail to a meter to the automation classes, and you can save up to 73% savings. Remember, you get 3.5 ounces for the price of 1 ounce. If you fold the flats, you can have additional savings getting away from the flat rates and converting to letters. With the automation classes, you get faster delivery and automated address correction. If you convert your priority mail from retail to commercial, it's a 10% savings on priority mail and a 12% savings on priority mail express. And remember, first class mail parcels, if you convert them from the retail to the commercial side, it's 15 to 59% savings. And then electronic return receipt for your certifieds is $1.25 savings. And then compare rates across the carriers. So our goal in doing these is to sort of let you know that there are a lot of different savings opportunities available. What we primarily focus on is on the equipment side. So we help people manage their inventory of equipment throughout the country. So our clients have anywhere between 20 and 2,000 locations with equipment. And so they have these postage spans all over the place, and it's very difficult for them to manage. When we do it, what we're the most proud of is our average client savings is 60% on their equipment and fees management. So, and that's equated to $964,000 per client. We're managing a fleet of 98,000 pieces of mailing equipment, and at the same time, we've helped our clients recover over $10 million in lost postage when people turn in meters and don't go back and get the funds back, and vendor overcharges. The vendors are far from perfect billing, and fees that they're being charged that they didn't know about that we've gotten eliminated. Everyone on our team came from the mailing industry. We provide a web-based tool so you have incredible visibility, much better than what the vendors provide or what most people have on their own. And we physically help the clients manage this category. But the best thing is, in most cases, we're on contingency basis. So if we don't find any savings, we're free. And at the same time, we've helped manage this category and make it easy. If you have any interest in talking to us, we do a no-cost analysis for any client to talk to them about what their mailing spends are and what savings opportunity exists before we ask anyone to commit. And all that you need to do if you're interested in that is we have a one-page limited agency agreement that just says we're allowed to look at your mailing spends, and then either provide us a list of the equipment that you have, or if you don't have that, as many clients don't, provide us, like an export from your accounts payable system of the bills you've paid to the primary mailing vendors. And then we'll go through that, analyze your spend, show you what savings opportunities available. And if you decide to move forward, then we'll do everything. Like we'll issue the credit requests, we'll help you claim the lost postage, we'll eliminate the fees, we'll help negotiate contract pricing and create a catalog for you. And then most importantly, we work with your locations to help validate that the equipment's there, that they have the right levels, and terminate things that aren't needed. And we present everything for you for approval. We manage it in a web dashboard so you get complete visibility to your entire fleet. And then we manage it ongoing for you because most people don't have a fleet that comes up at once. They need continual support to help make sure that things are managed, and we help take care of that. So if you need help from the experts, we're here, and if you'd ever like to talk to us, please feel free to reach out to us. I want to just open it up to questions. I want to thank everybody for being on the call. Hopefully this type of format can give you information about the rate changes, and at the same time, hopefully some savings tips that you can take back to your operation. If there's anything that you need from us, please let us know. We'll inform you about future rate increases so you can be prepared. And thank you again for attending the session.